Today we are going into the Garden State Winterfest, and it certainly is wintry out here. It's very snowy. It's freezing cold.
It's very cold.
It took us about an hour and 45 minutes to get here. Hopefully Cassie's buying me Fantastic Four #1 today.
Sure.
Stay
I'll
tuned.
go bankrupt.
Yeah. Stay tuned to the end. We're going to go over some other conventions we'll be attending in the next couple of months. Hopefully you guys can meet us there. So let's see what's going on inside. See you inside. It was Dad-Daughter Day at the Garden State Comic Fest Winterfest edition, and it was certainly wintry. And we had a fantastic time. More on that later.
And definitely spent a lot more time there than I thought we would.
We had our hand on a really rare book. Stay tuned. It's a great story. We'll be telling it later in the show. It took us about an hour and 45 minutes to get there, which although it sounds long to go to a convention, we had a lot of fun on the way down there. Winterfest takes place in an agricultural area. It's a very interesting convention. And there was a bit of snow around the convention. It's divided into two areas. One building has comics and other stuff that they're selling. The other area is set up as an artist alley, which is the first time they've done that. In past, it wasn't like this.
And it is buildings where you have to walk outside, so it's not connected.
This is the perfect convention for us because I like to buy comic books, as you know.
And I like to buy art.
Very good. The comic area was filled with dollar bins and quality books. Keys were all over, and the prices were prices were great there.
But the thing about about bigger conventions, I would say in general, with a lot of comic vendors is sometimes you will find a cheaper book at a different vendor.
It's true.
And we will talk about that later because we bought some books, but then we saw it later for more expensive. So we'll get to that.
We bought some fantastic Silver Age books, as a matter of fact.
I found a lot.
She did. From a place called Nerdbox Comics. Some of the best prices we've ever seen. And he gave us a deal, even though the prices were discounted. He gives a deal because I bought quite a few. If you ever see Nerdbox Comics at a convention when you go, start there buying your stuff. He had the best prices at anyone at the convention.
I would say also with the comics, there were a lot of either 50 cent or dollar bins that were a mess. We did buy some,
love
and
the mess.
I know, but I mean, like, there's only a cover in the bin,
Oh,
or
yeah, that was
like,
different.
I mean, like, the comic. It's not. I don't mind if it's out of order. We're used to that, but like the comics were in
Yeah, I've never
bad
seen that before.
condition.
My guess with that, and we bought stuff from that vendor also, was that was a collection that he just got and didn't even look through it.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, there was just covers, like no
and comics were all ripped.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but
So
yeah.
we bought a couple from him. There was also a lot of great wall books throughout the show, and the prices were great as well. And some of the booths, we'll talk about that later. Cassidy said earlier the prices were different at different booths. Let's look at some of the wall books. We also came across a great booth of comic books in shadow boxes. Some really cool pieces. There was a Police Academy piece, which is something really unique. Yes, there was a Police Academy comic book, and this guy made it into a shadow box. There was a Star Wars one, and of course, I saw a Human Fly one, which I never see. I'm a big Human Fly fan. That was really cool. I should have bought it, kicking myself that I didn't. But
You bought enough.
I know I bought enough. But that booth was really cool. We haven't seen a booth like that in a long time. I hope we see it again, because if we come across again, I'm definitely going to buy one of them. Or maybe Cassidy's going to make me a shadow box out of the comics that she's been buying to cut up.
What is a shadow box?
Shadow box is a frame that's thick, deep, so you can actually put stuff into it.
Oh, the frames.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's called the shadow box.
I didn't realize that.
They also had some records, along with all the comic books.
Yeah, I almost bought some records, but
Cassidy normally buys records. I don't know why she didn't. Prices were pretty good, and they were Disney records, which is what she normally buys.
I know. I didn't go back there, though, because, you know what, they had some Star Wars, but I already have that Star Wars record that they had.
Listen,
So.
everybody in the sale area, there were so many comic book vendors, and then there was just one guy who was selling records. Not a lot of Funko, not a lot of toys. It was primarily comic books.
There were like 2 big booths, though, with toys. We just didn't look at those because we didn't want to buy toys at this
I have
convention.
a very limited amount of toys that I buy now. The show also had a separate building that you had to walk from one building to the other one, and between the buildings there were some carts.
Some food trucks.
Some food trucks.
That
and
I got food at.
the other area contained an artist alley. So let's look at the artist alley before we talk about it. We're gonna buy guava juice. Good morning, how are you? How are you? Good. Cassidy found some good booths at Artist Alley.
I really only bought stuff. I only bought from 2 artists, and then in addition got some comics, but I bought some of your comics this time.
Yeah, I bought most of yours.
But
listen, the Artist Alley was set up great. It's last time they had this convention, they didn't have an Artist Alley. I like the idea of an Artist Alley and a comic book sale area. Both areas were crowded. It was a little cold out, so walking between the two, and the Artist Alley area was set up more like in a barn, so it was a little bit colder because they had to have the door open for people to get in and out. It doesn't really have a regular door; it has a barn door, and it's if you're in the Jersey area, Winterfest is a great convention. Garden State Comic Fest is a great convention. Winterfest is at a time when there's not a lot of conventions, so it's definitely worth it. A lot of vendors, a lot of good artists. We actually met one, and we're going to talk later on about our convention plans for later in the year. One of the artists we talked to, she tipped us off to one coming up that we're most likely going to go to because she's going to be there. And
yeah, something that Dad does, and I don't know. I converse with people that if I'm standing there for a while and I really like their art, I'll talk to them. I ask them questions. Well, I was talking to this one artist. I'll get to that when I'm showing my haul. But what he does is he almost always asks if there's a vendor that we really like. He's like, what's your next convention?
Yeah,
and a lot of times they say a convention that we're familiar with and that we might have been planning to go. But with this time, I think like 3 vendors said the same convention that we didn't know about. So
and that's how we find
I guess we'll be going to that one.
And to me, if I like a vendor, whether it be a comic book vendor or an artist, if I like what they're selling and they have a convention come up, it legitimizes the convention for me, like instantly. Like I'm like, if that guy's going to be there, he knows what he's doing, I'm going to go to that convention. And that's how I found a lot of conventions, and a lot of conventions on the list we'll talk about at the end of this video come from me talking to vendors and them suggesting, oh, you never been here, you should definitely go to this convention. So if you go to conventions in your area, talk to the vendors, say, what's next, where can I find you next? That's how you build conventions. There might be some you don't even realize they don't advertise on, Facebook or on any social media, and it's a convention that everybody loves, so you should definitely talk about it. But at Winterfest, we did what we always do. We looked through comic book bins, and
there were a lot to look through.
There were a lot.
And I guess that they also didn't have enough room because there was one comic vendor with the artists, which we actually said, like, oh, that kind of stinks because you're getting all your comic people in one area. Right. But we found very good deals at that one comic book booth.
We found some good stuff at that booth. And listen, he had people at his booth, so I'm guessing it didn't really hurt sales. So we bought a lot of stuff. Let's look at the haul. Cassidy's haul first.
Should I start with comics or non-comics?
Whatever you want.
Well, first I'm going to show the badge that we got. We don't often get badges at small conventions like this.
Yeah, and this was a cool one. Captain Cold and Mr. Freeze
because it's Winterfest. I love this.
I wonder who the artist is. Oh, E.P. Wilson. C.P. Wilson III. I love the art, too. I wonder if he was there. We could have had him sign it. Yeah, and then we don't get these anymore, and I love these. We hang these up.
Yeah, and then they have when their other conventions are. I love this is my first time at Winterfest, but I love their summer, which it's usually bigger, but I love Garden State. That's probably one of my favorite conventions that's not New York Comic Con, and it's more local to us. Okay, I'll start with my comics.
These are all cut up or no? Tell us which ones you're cutting up and which ones.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm only cutting up one.
Okay. I'm assuming it's the Casper one.
Yeah. So we found this in the 50-cent bins. It is a little damaged, but I am gonna cut it up. But it's Casper the Friendly Ghost. I bought it because, one, I do like Casper, but also one of my nicknames is Casper. So I like it. And I'm gonna make earrings out of it.
Yeah, she's gonna make earrings and a shadow box.
And actually, this convention had a lot more Star Wars.
In the dollar bins.
Yeah, in the dollar bins. One person had just a whole box of Star Wars.
We don't normally see that.
We don't normally see that. There were a lot of Star Wars too, not in dollar bins. But again, even at conventions, I don't see a lot of Star Wars. No. And I don't see a lot of newer Star Wars. There's always older Star Wars, which I don't really collect that much.
But they're never in the dollar bins.
Yeah, they're never in the dollar bins, so that's why I don't collect them. But found some newer ones. So let me see if these are in order. Okay, so I got Star Wars Marvel's version, 19, 27.
They weren't in order. Cassidy's not as organized as her father is.
28.
That's Skywalker
and 29.
That's Skywalker in an Imperial uniform?
I guess you gotta read the comic.
No, you have to get
and then I also got Star Wars The High Republic.
So a lot of the High Republic ones.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna finally download. What's the app you use?
CLZ.
Yeah, I'm gonna finally download the app because I need to organize them better.
Yeah.
Okay, and then.
So that's our comic book.
Yeah, that's my comic book haul.
But she bought a bunch of other stuff too.
But I also bought some of his comics this time because I had singles.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
I like him. I had no singles.
So, I bought from this artist. Oh, I'm blocking it. Which we will put the information down below. But
what's the artist's name?
So, J.M. Desantis. But he had a lot of horror art.
Mailing list too, if you want to do it.
So,
original art. Original art.
So I got 2 stickers. One of Nosferatu. And this one says For Tonight.
And Cassie's funny with her art, so now next time we go to show, if she sees Desantis again, she'll buy stuff.
Yeah, probably.
I
also like this. I don't. I play a lot. So obviously this is supposed to be like.
From what?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's the castle from Nosferatu or Dracula.
Oh, okay.
And Fortnite, like.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's a line in the book. However, I also bought it because I play a lot of Fortnite. Fun fact. So.
She just wanted to be Godzilla in the last couple of weeks, so she's been playing it all the time.
I have. I was just playing it before this. And then I bought from this artist, which we will put the information down below.
We talked about for a while.
Relemenopy.
Yeah, we spoke with her for quite a little while.
Because she's going to buy something and then talk about your booth, and then I'm not going to have video.
But she had a lot of art from fandoms that I am a huge fan of. She had some Doctor Who, a lot of Good Omens, and a lot of Arcane. And I honestly don't see a lot of Arcane at smaller conventions especially. But anyway, this is my Good Omens pin. I really like it. I like the subtlety. I love the colors. And then I also got a Victor pin.
That stuff was cool. She had these pins and
yeah, so she had a lot of keychains and charms
made like that
from like 4 Arcane characters. So I was talking to her about Arcane. We were talking about the new season, and I didn't want to spend too much money, but I was debating between different charms because she had a lot of ones that I really liked. So I was debating between this one
Good job. Now you could spend more money.
No, I'm trying to save.
Cassidy's a saver.
That is my haul.
That's Cassidy's haul. So it was a good one. Artists were really nice. We had a good time. Cassidy should be spending more money because she has a job now. But she sees how many conventions we go to, and you'll see at the end how many conventions we go to. So without any further ado, let's look at my haul. First up,
did you only buy comics?
Yeah, I only bought comics. First up is not something I bought, but we were in Artist Alley, so someone was there. Riley Brown was there, and he did the cover to this Army of Darkness Halloween special. So I'm a huge Army of Darkness fan. And I was like, ooh, I could get this signed. Let me just get this signed by Riley Brown. And it was one signature free. Other signatures were $5. So that's the only comic I had for him. So I thought it was pretty cool. Love Army of Darkness and buy every single comic that comes out.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Now,
Army of Darkness was actually the first Evil Dead movie I ever saw.
That's good.
Which is very interesting. No, but I don't even know if I've seen the second Evil Dead.
Yeah, they're like the redo of the original. So that was, I didn't buy that. I just got it signed. Here's the actual haul. It is a nice size.
It is a decent size.
It is a decent size. So there you go. We bought a lot of comics. So let's get started. DC, we bought Superman number 196, an old Superman.
There was, because there were so many comic vendors, there was a good amount of DC, but still not a lot of older titles in the dollar bins. There's a lot of newer ones, but we found some.
$352. So I bought a couple. So Cassidy found all of these. I found these New Talent Showcase number 5. This is from the 1980s. It took some of the upcoming artists that they had and it put them into one place. New Talent Showcase number 10. I believe they did 12 issues of this. New Talent Showcase number 11. So that's my entire DC haul. As we have been talking about week after week, there are way more Marvel comics in the dollar bins than there are DC comics.
And we found some this time of Marvel titles that we never see in the dollar bins.
We did, so you'll see. Picked up this Ant-Man number 4 cover because it is a homage to Miami Vice, and although I don't think I've ever mentioned it on the show before, I love Miami Vice. I am a child of the 1980s, and Miami Vice was a Friday staple for most of us.
That show is often on our TV.
I have rewatched it from episode 1 to the end 3 times before, and actually mentioned doing it again soon, so, because it's been like 2 or 3 years since I watched it, so I may be rewatching it again. But I love this cover, that it's it's Ant-Man as Crockett and a bear as Tubbs. So that's the only reason I bought it, the cover. I did buy some Silver Age stuff. Avengers number 20. This is the first key we picked up. The Swordsman actually joins the Avengers in this issue. If you didn't see our episode, we did an episode on all of the Avengers that joined before the 1990s, and Swordsman was one of the early ones, so check out that one if you didn't watch it. But this is key number 1. Avengers 271. Dollar bin. X-Men Micronauts number 2. What If the Avengers Left the Evolutionary Wars? It's What If number 1. The Last Starfighter 1.
Have you ever pulled those? I don't think I've ever seen that comic.
And 2.
Did somebody mention The Last Starfighter? The Last Starfighter is a 1984 science fiction space opera film directed by Nick Castle. It starred Lance Guest as Alex Rogan, who's a kid from a trailer park who gets recruited into an interplanetary defense force because he's really good at a video game. It also starred Catherine Mary Stewart and Dan O'Hurley. In his last film role, it starred Robert Preston as Centauri, the smooth-talking con man from outer space. It's pretty great. There was a rumored line of action figures from Galoob. They were made, but they were never put out into public for sale. There's a lot of talk online that people got prototypes and all that, but most of those turned out to be customs. There were catalog scans of these figures, and you can find them online. Since then, other companies have jumped in and made sort of very small runs of figures based on The Last Starfighter, but nothing big, and certainly nothing from the time that the movie came out in.
Thank you, Brian. You got yourself into the video again. Let's keep going with the haul. Maybe we won't be interrupted again. Doom 2099, number 10. Just another series we pick up when we see it in the dollar bin. Probably the strangest comic book I bought. The Life of Pope John Paul II. I'm going to look deeper into this. I don't understand why Marvel Comics did this. It's from 1983.
Now you have to do a short on it?
And not from 1982. I just want to know where this idea came from.
You know, when I saw you pull that, I was very confused.
And the thing too is that at the 1982, and it's a cover price of $1.50. That's a lot for 1982. Most of the comics back then, I think, were 30 cents. Team America, another blip in comic book history. When motorbikes were popular, they decided to do a whole entire comic book based around motorbike superheroes. Number 1, number 2, number 3. And number 4. This went 12 issues. Yes, Team America went 12 issues. For those of you that have been asking in the last couple of whole videos about ROM, here goes some more ROM for you. We picked up a lot of ROM.
We saw a lot of ROM.
A lot of ROM. ROM number 17 is actually key number 2. It's the first appearance of Hybrid, a shape-shifting alien. ROM number 26. ROM battles Galactus. ROM number 32.
Do you think they'll ever make a ROM movie?
They're putting out a new ROM action figure soon. ROM number 33. This is key number 3, the first appearance of Sybil. ROM number 34 with the Submariner. ROM had a lot of crossovers. ROM number 38 with Shang-Chi, the Master of Kung Fu. This is key number 4, first appearance of Dr. Dredd. ROM number 39, again, Shang-Chi's in this one. ROM number 44, key number 5, the first appearance of the Devastator, Cassidy's favorite villain. ROM number 40, that was 44. ROM number 49.
Actually, while we were looking for ROM, we had to cross-reference each
ROM
other to
number
make sure.
51, we were pulling the same comic.
Yeah, we did have some duplicates, but then we put them back.
ROM number 55. ROM number 56. Co-starring Alpha Flight. Lots of crossovers with ROM. ROM number 58. Co-starring Ant-Man. ROM number 59. We went crazy with the ROM. ROM number 64. ROM number 66.
Were some in 50 cent, or did we only find them in dollar bins?
I think some were in 50 cent. ROM number 67. ROM King Size Annual number 1. ROM Annual number 2. This is key number 6. It's the first appearance of the Space Knight Squadron. ROM Annual number 3. That's a lot of ROM. So we're going to see if we can finish that series this year. That's the goal this year. Finish the entire run of ROM. We bought some more Silver Age books. Captain America 104. Got this at a great price. This was only $8. Nice cover. Nice shape too. Cassidy found this one in one of the dollar bins. Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos, $44.
Well, I know he collects those, and since it's really old.
And you never see
them.
them.
We don't often see those in dollar bins.
And here's Cassidy's big one that we found in dollar bins that we never find in dollar bins.
Okay, so I always look for certain titles, even though I have a huge list, there are ones that I know for sure that my dad collects, and that's Fantastic Four and She-Hulk. I'm always on the lookout for She-Hulk. However, there's almost never ones in the dollar bin.
Never.
And if there are, it's later issues that he already has. But we found
a bunch.
A good amount of them.
Sensational She-Hulk
in
number
the dollar
3.
bin.
Sensational She-Hulk number 4. And this was from the vendor that was with the Artist Alley. Sensational She-Hulk 8. Right? No, 6. 5. Sensational She-Hulk 5. Sensational She-Hulk 7. Sensational She-Hulk 9. These things are usually a lot more money. I usually see these in the $5 bins. Sensational She-Hulk 10. And Sensational She-Hulk 11. That's a nice run of this Sensational She-Hulk.
But then after we bought them, when we were looking through another comic vendor, they had a bunch of Sensational She-Hulk for ranging from $5 to $8 each.
And basically the same issues.
So, it was basically the same issues. So I'm very happy about that.
I find it very strange that you go to a convention, even on some of the bigger books, like some Silver Age books, and one vendor has it for like $10, and then you go to another vendor and he has it for $50. So at one point I pointed out to Cassidy, a vendor had Nova number 1 on the wall, and he wanted it was like $75 for it on the wall, which is reasonable price for Nova number 1, and I bought it not too long ago, sometime early in 2024, out of a dollar bin. Someone had it in a dollar bin. So it really pays to look around.
Well, there was one comic vendor that he didn't have any dollar bins. He really only had key issues and wall books, but in boxes. So I was looking through that while he was looking at another vendor. Because we were looking for Fantastic Four, because that's the main...
And maybe we bought some.
Yeah, but that's the main wall books that we only buy. Yeah. And I was looking through his, and the cheapest one he had was $500.
Yeah.
And that was early. That was the first one he had. And one of the books was, I think, $500, and we had gotten it for like $80 at another convention.
At one of the Queen's comic parties.
So... pays to look.
100% pays to look. So it's work, but go through the dollar bins, especially when you see it looks like they just put out a new collection and they may not have gone through it yet. You may get crazy deals there. So it pays to go through dollar bins, and we did, and we did well at this convention, but we've done well throughout the year. So let's keep going. Master of Kung Fu 28, another series I just recently started collecting.
Another one.
Master of Kung Fu 30, 55, another great 70s Marvel comic that ran a long time, 56, 71, 105, this is key number 7, it's the first appearance of the second and third Razor Fist, I'm assuming that's them on the cover. I don't make up the keys. It's what comes up from the key list. 107. Key number 8, the first appearance of Dark Angel and Sada, who is a Fu Manchu assassin. I don't make up the keys. It's what comes up when I'm cataloging. 120. Some keys are bigger than others. And speaking of big keys, we had the biggest key on our list in our hands. That's right, we saw a Fantastic Four number 1, and I got to hold it in my hand, and here's the story. So as we were going through dollar bins at one of the vendors, the person who was running the booth was chatting with an older gentleman and his wife who was selling some comics. And one of the comics he was selling was, in fact, Fantastic Four number 1.
He immediately called me. I was going through bins and he's like, come here. I'm like, I'm busy. I'm in the middle of a bin.
She was working.
But he was like, you have to come see this.
And it was a Fantastic Four number 1. And they were, I wouldn't say they were negotiating a price. The dealer, to his credit, was trying to advise the guy on what he should do and the condition and how he should probably get it graded, and how every time he takes it out of the bag and it's devaluing it because it was chipping a little bit, and it looked good and it looked like it was probably in a good condition. I
think the vendor said that if he graded it, it would probably be around a 3.5.
Yeah, so he was saying he could probably sell for about $8,000. There was no
great,
security,
yeah.
so we should have probably ran with it, and that would have been how we got it. But I really hope the guy gets his money worth. They were an older couple. It was if you're watching this and you're the guy who's selling it and you still have it, we're interested. Drop us an email, collectorsconfessions@gmail.com. Or if you want to gift it to us, that would be even better.
But then we were talking to, so that vendor had 2 people working.
It's probably his son.
Yeah. So we were talking to the other guy because he was asking, like, if you get a book like that, you'll probably grade it because you'll get so much more money.
So much more money.
The vendor was actually saying that the only graded comic books that they have are ones that they get graded. Yeah. They don't typically grade comic books because they like to read the comics.
We do.
Yeah, so I really appreciated that he said that, because if you get a big book, you are going to get a lot more money if it's graded.
And that's the thing with Fantastic Four #1. We even said it to him. You never see that ungraded.
No.
So people who get their hands on it grade it because you're going to get more money if you grade it. So, I mean, we've seen a couple at New York Comic Con is the only time I've ever seen it at an actual convention. That's such a big book. You don't usually see it at smaller conventions. To see it where the guy was selling it was it was fantastic. It was really, it was good. We did buy.
Wait a minute. You had Fantastic Four #1 in your hand, and you did not buy it. I don't even know what we're doing here anymore.
Good. We did buy some Fantastic Four. We didn't buy #1.
No, that would have been a lot.
Stay tuned for later in the year. Maybe we will come across it again. But that was by far the biggest book we saw at this convention, and it wasn't even one of the vendors. It was just a regular guy who was walking around the convention and was looking to sell it. And he had a bunch of other ones. We didn't even look at them. We were
just listening. We were
listening to the deal, and it was very interesting just to eavesdrop on what they were doing. And vendor again was doing the right thing. He was trying to help the guy out. He could have fleeced the guy because the guy really didn't know what he had, but he was giving him advice, and he pulled out the guide, and he was saying, here's where you are, here's where you could be, this is what you should do. Very, very good. It's again a lot of good vendors at this convention. Garden State Comic Fest is a good convention to go to. They have top notch vendors there. So
because the thing is, if you brought Fantastic Four #1 to say New York Comic Con, I don't know. There definitely are vendors who would be nice about it, but they would be kind of more like the business side.
You would get different answers from each vendor.
And the vendors would be trying to get it.
It's a good experiment. If you have a big book, try to sell it and see what, even if you're not really selling it, see what people say. I guarantee you some vendors will try to rip you off, and other vendors will be nice like this vendor was and give you advice on what to do with it. There's shady people in every kind of business. You're making money. Some people are going to take the easy road. Some people are going to be nice and keep the hobby going. So let's keep going. I did buy some Fantastic Four, and I bought some Fantastic Four keys, and they were priced wonderfully. What was the name of that vendor again?
Nerdbox Comics.
Nerdbox Comics had some great price. Great, absolutely fantastic. He will be the vendor I go to every time I go to a convention. That if he's there, I'm going to him first. Fantastic Four 81. This is key number 9. Crystal joins the Fantastic Four. She replaces the Invisible Girl for a little while. Great price if you can see it. That's right. It was only $16. Fantastic Four 93. Key number 10. The second appearance of Franklin Richards and a cover appearance of Maximus, who is Black Bolt's brother. It was only $12. We saw this at other vendors for $50 to $100.
And also good condition.
Good condition. 91. Key number 11. The first appearance of Torgo, who's an advanced robot warrior. That's right. It was only $10. Fantastic Four 95. Key number 12. It's the first appearance of Monocle. Again, only $14. Listen, it's not in perfect condition, but at that, even in not good condition, I've seen it for way more. And Fantastic Four 97, key number 13, the first cover appearance of Franklin Richards. He's a baby there. So there you go. I bought 5 Fantastic Four comics, all keys, under 100, and I spent, what, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. He gave these to me for $65.
Yeah, I think so.
$65. So they were cheap to begin with, and then he discounted them because I bought these, and I bought, actually it was $75 because I bought these, and I bought the Captain America and the Avengers from earlier, and he gave all of them to me for $75. That's 7 Silver Age comics, 5 keys for signing a book. You can't. I've seen each one of these for $70 at different vendors. So it was Winterfest. 100%. You should go next time.
Go to the summer
Go
one.
to the summer one. We'll be there.
They also have an anime fest, but we're not anime fans much.
But we'll show you that. At this point, as we said, we are going to go over a number of our regular viewers have asked us to go over what our schedule is going to be, what shows we're going to be attending, where we're going to be recording. So if you happen to be going to any of these shows, please, if you see us, come over and say hello. You know, we'll even put you on video if you're comfortable with that, chat with you. So there's a lot. This is only...
a lot.
We're
going to all of these?
We're going to try. So the first one after this video is February 8th. We'll be at Queen's Comic Party. I'm considering that like our local show. We go to that as often as we possibly can. Billy runs a great show. It's in Queens. If you're in the area, swing by there. They're the best. On the 15th of February, we'll be at Cosmic Con, which is the one that the artists here pointed out to us, and a couple other people said Cosmic Con is good. We've never been there before. We don't know what to expect. That's February 15th. February 22nd is the Super Show on Staten Island. It's the first time they're doing it. It's run by some comic book shop in the Bronx. We've already reached out to the promoter. He's given us the go-ahead to record, and we're going to chat with him, and we're going to try to get some interviews during that one. So if you're in the Staten Island area, swing by. February 23rd is Nerdfest. It will be our first time going, but we heard a lot of good things about Nerdfest, so check us out if you're there. March 1st, Welcome Back Comics Quick Sell event. We've been to that the last couple times they've done it.
March 2nd is ZoloCon.
We've never been to ZoloCon.
Is that the one that some vendors have told us about?
A lot of people have told us over the last year how good ZoloCon is, so we're going to try to do double
Back-to-back.
duty that weekend. Welcome Back Comics that was the one that you fill up a short box for like $50, and I went insane at the last one. I got a stack. They have some good. I can use at that one because there's a lot of. It's almost all dollar bins. March 9th is New Egypt Comic Book and Toy Show. That's a great little show. We were there last year. March 15th, maybe. That's my anniversary. Not sure if I'll be there. ReplayCon. Never been there before.
You'll be in trouble.
No, we'll go in the morning. ReplayCon. Never been there before. Don't know what to expect. That is on our list.
March 22nd is King Kong.
Love King Kong. King Kong's one of my favorite.
Wait, I said King Kong. King Kong.
No, King Kong. I've been there every single year since year one. It's moved around quite a bit. It started out in the mall. Now it's not in the mall. It's actually at a place. It's a great comic book show. A lot of comic book vendors there. A lot of dollar books. A lot of deals. That's one of the ones we will not miss.
March 29th is ZapCon.
Love ZapCon. ZapCon is just Zap Comics running their convention. They now have artists, and I go to that one every year also. So definitely be at that one.
And all of these are in New Jersey, New York area.
New Jersey, New York area. No, some of them in Pennsylvania coming up. March 30th is Jersey Shore Comic Book Show. We'll be there because we've become friendly with the promoters of that from some of the other shows we attended. We like those guys over there.
Then April 2nd is Lee Valley Comic Con.
That's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's in Pennsylvania.
And this is another one that a vendor had told us about. April 15th is Cyclone Con. That's in Brooklyn. Never been there before. We'll check it out. April 26th is Super Jersey Comic Expo. We love the Super Jersey Comic Expo, guys. That's AJ, who was in the booth next to us when we did our first actual invited convention, and another guy named Paul, who... Great guys. Convention is fantastic. Cassidy didn't go with me last year. I was by myself because Brian couldn't make it either. Great convention.
I was at schools.
I know. And it looks like it will get bigger and bigger every year. The next day we're going to be going to the Brooklyn Independent Comic Showcase. Don't know anything about it. It popped up. It's in Brooklyn. Why not? And it's independent, so it's going to be a lot of indie comics. We'll check it out.
Then
we have nothing scheduled in May. I don't know. If you know of any conventions in May, let us know.
I don't know. Going a whole month without a convention? Well, there has to be some Queen's Comic Party, but...
Yeah, we'll probably go to Queen's Comic Party for sure, but there's nothing else that is coming up. And interspersed in these, we will be going to Queen's Comic Parties and their Brooklyn Invasions when we can. So as of right now, nothing solid in May. So if you have anything, let us know.
But then June 1st is, oh God, your handwriting.
FleaCon.
FleaCon.
Yeah. Which
That's
is
in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, also in Pennsylvania. In June 7th is Brooklyn Comic Con. That's a close one for us. So.
And then June 28th is Garden State Comic Fest. So that's the summer version.
That's it right here.
May
3rd is anime one, so we won't be going to that. But if you're an anime fan, definitely worth going to. They run a great convention.
I always find really great stuff at Garden State.
Yeah. And the next one is maybe, we're not sure yet. We don't know our summer vacation plans, but we may go in August. Yes, we don't have anything in July yet. There aren't a lot of conventions in July because people go away. August 9th,
is
10th
Terrificon.
and 11th is Terrificon.
That is our favorite convention.
We missed it last year because we were on a boat. This year, we are hoping to attend it. It's my favorite convention of the year because we attend with the family, so all of us go, and it's a lot of fun.
But it's probably one of my favorites too because, I don't know, New York Comic Con can never, I don't know, it could be some people's favorite convention, but there's just, you can't find deals. Things are expensive. I love New York Comic Con for the experience, but when it comes to an actual convention, I would say Terrificon is probably my favorite.
And if you've never been to Terrificon, one of the highlights of Terrificon is that the convention is great. The setup is great, but it takes place in Mohegan Sun. So what we normally do is after the convention, we go and we gamble. And we eat dinner in the convention hall, and
sometimes we stay overnight because it is a hotel.
Depends on how.
But there are so many restaurants in there.
So many restaurants.
There are so many other,
Games,
stores.
There's lots of fun stuff to do there. So even once the convention ends, there's so much more to do.
There is an arcade,
and it's the only convention that my wife comes to with us because she has stuff that she can do. So we all go inside the convention. She hangs around outside and gambles, and eats a nice lunch and buys us Krispy Kreme. So there you go. That's so far. We will have more. That's the beginning of the year. Hopefully we get something in May. We will update it, but hopefully you can find us somewhere and come over and say hello. Tell us what you collect. We love hearing from you guys. Comment in the comments. Share this with other collectors. Like it. Subscribe. If you really like what we're doing, become a member. That helps us pay for all of this because it's going to be an expensive year. Thanks for watching. Love what you collect.
Collect what you love.
We'll see you next week.